Good evening. This is the Marion City Council regular meeting, Thursday, November 5th, 2015. It is 5:30 p.m. At this time, we shall do the Pledge of Allegiance. Remove your hats if you have. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Ms. Pazor.
Here.
Ms. Hetzel. Present. Mr. Spinks.
Present.
Mayor Buska.
Present.
Mr. Abou-Osley.
Here.
Mr. Draper.
At this time, I'll pass it on to the Mayor Pro Tem for a moment of silence.
Yeah, would you join us in a moment of silence, please? Thank you.
This time, we'll have a swearing in of a firefighter paramedic. Jeff Madlin, please.
Yeah, where have I heard that name before? Congratulations.
At this time, do we have any citizens' presentation, comments, and/or petitions? And normally we say anything that's not on tonight's agenda, but we do have some people that are in the audience that would like to speak, and so let's make it short. I think we have a few things. Sir, I'll call on you. Step forward to the podium. You got your hand up there. Yes, that's you. Stand up to the podium, name and address, sir, and what you're speaking about.
My name is Jack Zumwalt, 1500 8th Street. And I am here representing the library board. And so I'm also here with Susan Kling on the library board and Nancy Miller on the library board. And we just wanted to give the mayor and council update on what's going on at the library right now. So a next checkpoint in our expansion project is happening next Wednesday night. That's the 11th of February. That's going to be a design charrette where it's going to be our first look at some of the drawings of potential exteriors and interiors of a library building. And so that's just the next step in the process of looking at potential ideas. And from there, that's where the design process can help get costs associated to an actual design. So that's happening next. And so that's an opportunity for anybody in the public to come, and we want as many people as possible to come to the library on the 11th at 5:15 is the time for that meeting. We also, you're all aware that our director, Doug Raber, has announced his retirement, and he is wanting to retire by next March. And so it's a fairly short time frame for us, and I think you've also received the memo that we have retained the services of Bradbury Associates, and representatives from Bradbury are here tonight, and I'd like the opportunity to introduce them if I could. Is that
Yes,
okay, Mayor?
yes.
We'd like to give them a chance to come up and just give a quick introduction to themselves.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Dan Bradbury, 4545 Warnell, Kansas City, Missouri.
And my name's Jo Beth, same address.
And we're the two principals of Bradbury Associates. We thank the library board for the opportunity to work with them, work with you, and finding your next director. Just wanted to emphasize that it's personally, I have about 40 years of public library experience. Jo Beth, not quite that many, but a few years of experience. We just want to emphasize that we're eager to work with the board. The board's running a very transparent process, open for input. I think we've already invited many of you to provide your input about what you're looking for in the next library director. We are meeting today, tomorrow with staff at the library, with foundation members, and we should wrap this process up in about 4 months and hopefully bring you some candidates that will make you an excellent public library director.
And I just wanted to quickly mention, I feel right at home here. I come from a municipal library environment, so I spent many Tuesday nights in council chambers. And we do about 10 to 15 public library searches a year now, and we have often worked in Iowa. Most recently, we did the state librarian search for the state library in Iowa, but we also worked in Pella and Des Moines as well. So we're glad to be back, and thank you for having us. We're looking forward to it.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
And just real quick, the library board is still in the process of developing our search committee. And if anyone on council is interested in serving with us on that search committee for our new library director, we'd love to have you. So just give myself or anyone on the board or Susan a call, and we can give you details if you have interest in serving in that capacity. It would be great. That's all we have. Thank you.
Good. Well, thank you. And you're welcome at any time. We meet every once in a while. And on a Tuesday or Thursday, anytime you've got anything you want to add, you want to breaking news, so to speak, let us know.
We will.
And you're very welcome. Thank you, sir. And thank you for coming.
Thank you.
I was hoping you were a cologning firm. That you could clone that lady right there, and that's what we would want. Just clone Susan.
Anyone else that would like to speak? Ma'am? And way in the back, if you'd like to just kind of stand in line, and we'll make it quicker. Thank you.
My name is Luann Ramsey. I'm the owner of Ramsey's Metro Market and the property owner of that same location, 1120 7th Avenue, Marion. I am here to voice my approval for the proposed additional parking that the city engineers have proposed to the city. The additional parking will be a benefit to the businesses in Uptown Marion, so that our patrons have more opportunity for parking. So, thank you.
Thank you. There's another one. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Katie Lursman. I'm one of the co-owners of Louis Scoreboard, and I also want to say that I do support the Art in the Alleys project and all the work that they've done on that. I know Karen and many others have worked tirelessly on that project, and I think it will bring a lot of value to our community. So I hope you'll take that into consideration.
You both can come up one after another. You can come up, sir. That'll save us some time. Is there anyone else out there also? Did anyone else raise their hand? Very well.
Jeannie Matthews, 770 11th Street, and I go back to the old adage that the state told us we essentially do not have a parking problem. We all have a walking problem. I think the parking situation needs to be approved because it's for the greater good of Uptown Marion, and the changes that are going to occur in the future are so worth the sacrifice that we're all going to make to have a little small shift. I'm also under the impression that people in the city have found some ghost parking spaces that we can all shift around and make work that actually give us a few more parking spaces that we originally had. My husband and I looked down our bedroom at the parking right in front of us, and there's room for a few different spaces just right there. It affects our business and our home life. It's no problem. We both support it. Thank you.
Sir?
My name is Conrad Ramsey, 1120, that's the business. 2835 26th Avenue.
All field,
Marion.
we all know that you live there, sir.
Okay, yeah, I spend a lot of time at the business. Thank you. Anyway, what I really wanted to say is what I really see in the city leadership is a positive direction. And I don't know if the city can do this, but if they can go out and reach out to the citizens of this great city of Marion with a positive note to bring them into the city shopping at the stores that are here. I hear there's negativity out there about what the city wants to do, and that's too bad. I think the citizens of the city just don't understand, and they need positive reinforcement from the city members in messages going out to those as to what the details are that's going to bring prosperity to this great city. And so I ask you as a citizen of Marion, if it's legally possible within all the legal ramifications, to reach out to the citizens and turn those negatives to positives, because we all want to live in a positive world. Thank you.
Thank you. Ma'am?
Teresa Coons. I own a business at 1105 8th Avenue. I do agree with everyone that got up here and said that they are for the Imagine Art in the Alley. I think it's a great project that the Uptown Marion is doing for the city. And the addition of parking in Uptown Marion is great. I do ask if the city took into account how difficult it is already when you're backing up in that area of 11th Street when there's someone on both sides of you and behind. And I understand what code is, but is already the traffic on a daily basis, you know, when you're going to back up and that kind of stuff. It is not really accommodating to be pulling in and backing out with straight in lines and parking areas. I would like the council to note that after the meeting on October 2nd, someone from the city contacted me for a meeting to explain the agreement better. We met on October 27th here at City Hall. They told the council this last Tuesday that the additional parking had a lot of thought and brainstorming put into it. I left City Hall on the 27th at 1:40, and by 5:10 they were in my salon with this proposed idea. When I went to this meeting with the city, I had a couple ideas I had brainstormed to present to them. At the meeting on the 22nd, the presenter said that the 11 spots would primarily be used for in-and-out business, and when asked by a council member when their current parking was being used to the fullest, he said once a month for a staff meeting. So with this, I asked, why not make those 11 parking spots 30 minutes to 1 hour parking, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. They said their staff would use it as well. I'm not sure if that meant all day or for short periods. I know my clients at the salon normally need more time than that, but at least if the general public needed to use them, then they would be able to. I want to stress that I'm not only worried about my salon, but that this will cause a domino effect, as people not coming to my shop would park in front of my salon, then my clients would park in front of other businesses, and so on. I asked the people at this meeting if they went to Iowa Realty or Shermco directly and asked if they would be able to use their parking lots to their fullest and share between the two, only temporarily in order to not disrupt the end goal of growing Uptown Marion and as a courtesy to their neighbors. Their answer was no, but in 3 years when their lease was up, that they could ask the building owner to rewrite the lease. 6 months to a year could make or break a small business, let alone wait 3 years. A couple of days last week, I took pictures of Iowa Realty and Shermco current private parking lots during the proposed time of Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., just to see what their situation is. This here would be looking to the west, towards the west, towards Road Ranger. As you see, those are all open. This is on the 27th. This is looking then from 10th Street over on the 27th, so towards the east. Then also on the 27th, facing southeast, this would be Hills Bank, then over there. And this isn't a very good picture, but you can also see that there's probably 6 spots used along over in the Iowa Realty, and everything along the building is not used either. And then here, this would be facing southwest from Sherm Co., and as you can see, you can only see a couple parked there, and nothing is along the building along Iowa Realty. And then on the 29th, then this would be Iowa Realty's. As you can see, no one's parked along the building. Same day, no one parked along the building or in those spots. Here is Sherm Co., and you can see Iowa Realty in the back there. Here's more, I guess I'm just kind of showing, I just wanted to show 2 different days, that it wasn't just one isolated incident. And then just more or less, I mean, they do just have kind of their work things sitting there, not a lot of used area. I then asked them if they realized that the business that rely on walk-in business to help their business grow would be hurt with not having easy access to close parking. The reply was that they did notice that people in Marion do have a problem walking 2 blocks. Well, it shouldn't matter if that is okay or not, but if my clients don't want to walk 2 blocks to come to my business, that means I just lost a client because the city feels that it wasn't important. I don't understand why if they feel paying customers should walk that far, why isn't it reasonable to ask the Sherm Co. and Iowa Realty paid employees to walk 2 blocks? I asked if they can now petition for reserved public parking, then what says I can't do that for my business? And the response was, well, you're not giving us anything. I was kind of disgusted by that comment. I then today just kind of wanted to show, since I'm not giving them anything, if I would ask for it. In here, my back property has a 3,000 square foot lot, which is 89.65% smaller, of that 3,346 square foot that you're wanting to acquire. My assessed 2014 value is $9,900 for the year. So I added 10.35% to that to give their total area of $11,042.94. I then went and looked at what the parking ramp downtown Cedar Rapids on 3rd Avenue would cost for a monthly parking permit. That's $60 per month for 11 spots, which would cost $660. So 1 year of parking would be $7,920. So in 16 months and 3 weeks, use of that permit would be $11,000, roughly a few more dollars than what their assessed value is. So my question is so now you're going to turn around and they're giving you something, is what they're giving us something. That's what their argument is. Well, so now they're going to get 11 spots where the city then could be making $7,900 a year off of it, off of possible other parking that they could be renting to them if they would just buy that property. I don't think that I'm not saying that that's the way it should go, but if you're going to use the argument that says they're giving us something, they're not, the city would be technically losing money. So the council then also asked Tuesday if the Granger House was an option, and it seemed as though they didn't even consider that either. So I was wondering what they did about that. I had heard prior to this meeting that some business owners were contacted by their landlord that when the Art and Alley projects start, that they would be utilizing about 5 spots on 11th Avenue. So I asked them about that. They told me that they changed that, and now the staging area would be in the old Sorg sample parking lot. After hearing this, I watched the parking situation over there and realized that at most times during the day, the lot was anywhere from 75 to 90% full. So now my question is where are those people going to park? So this is just pictures of that parking lot. There's about 5 open parking spots and 2 handicaps at that one time during the day, which was, I mean, by the shadow, probably about 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. All of this is hanging in the idea of an Uptown Marion parking ramp. This is a big if, and I find the word temporary offensive as it seems to be a very open-ended time span, if ever. I am working with a realty company in charge on this project, and as of today, the city, as far as I know, has not approved the funding for that, so it makes it seem a very open-ended temporary. I feel there are a lot of ideas, problems, and businesses that the city has not taken into consideration and feel they can come up with a much better plan than they have. If they could find 17 more parking spots for the Uptown Marion in just 4 hours, then just think what they could come up with if they would have put a lot more thought into it. The Imagine Art in the alley will help grow the Uptown, but why can't we all grow with it instead of holding some small businesses back? I also sent out a petition and got about 250 signatures on that. It's both from Marion and other surrounding areas, and I feel that the ones that are from surrounding areas, since we want to bring people into the area, the ones that did sign that almost hold more weight than the actual citizens of Marion with us wanting to bring people in. I hope the council sees this as an unfair negotiation for the proposed area. I would hope they would encourage the city to find a fair outcome with every current and future business in mind. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Thanks, Ian.
Just had a question for her.
Where's the question? What?
I just had one
You
question.
have a question. Go ahead.
One
I'm
question
sorry.
for. I
Go ahead.
noticed that you have like 6 spots right by your building for employee parking.
Mhm.
Would you think about maybe giving those up?
Yeah, we let, when there's any problems, we move our spots, move our cars for our clients and stuff to be able to park back there. So, yeah, because when we do know it's a problem, we're not going to make our clients
Yeah, I
walk
would
when we
leave that
we'll be
separate.
there all day, yes.
Okay. Go ahead.
What's your hours of business?
We are there, we kind of say our businesses hours are 10 to 6, Monday through Friday. But, I mean, there's girls that come in at 9. It's a chair rental, so there can be people there at 8 o'clock in the morning till 9 o'clock at night. We just more or less, for the public, if they want to walk in, it's from 10 to 6 is what we say. There's normally somebody there, but with a chair rental, you can't tell them when they can and can't be there. So.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Alon, we'll probably address this later on in the thing, and we'll have some comments. I'll ask some comments. All right. All right. So anyone else? Raise your hand.
I think.
Oh,
Thank
there. Okay.
Good evening, Nick. My name is Nick Gluen, President of Marion Economic Development Corporation. I wanted to just make a brief comment on the presentation from Tuesday's work session. Not going to dwell specifically on the case, but I just wanted to point out, I think obviously we all know that we work very collaboratively, whether that's with the council or with our business community. I was disappointed to see how that conversation was played out, and hope that if you guys have concerns in talking with various business owners in the community, that you all know how to get a hold of us. I just wanted to briefly update you on what happened since that presentation. I had an hour-long conversation once he made a presentation here, following up with various issues and concerns that the gentleman had. Again, name isn't relevant to the conversation. Process is. Nevertheless, since that issue was brought before the council, since that time I have initiated having a meeting with everyone that was probably referenced in that conversation, so that everyone can understand where we're at. I did provide a proposal to this particular business owner back in July, and I provided a copy of that to several of you on council following the meeting. If all of you would like a copy, the city manager can provide that to you. Be happy to walk through that and answer any questions. But we will be setting up a meeting with that business owner later in the month. And again, I just want to encourage you, if you have any additional situations, be happy to talk through that one-on-one. If it needs to be talked about in the council chambers, that's fine, but I think we have a much more collaborative relationship than issues like that needing to be aired in a council setting. So if anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them, but I wanted to update you that we're continuing to address this situation, and we'll talk more individually with you, some of you folks in the future.
Nick, can I ask you?
Yeah.
Did he have a specific area he was really looking to go into? Or?
Not necessarily. His challenge is just finding ground in particular.
Okay.
In that proposal, obviously, we offered him 7 or 8 different options, and we don't need to talk specifics about that here. But
Right. But I was just wondering if he had some area that he was thinking would be best for his business.
It's more about the size of lot that he was looking for than necessarily the location.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? We'll move on to the consent calendar.
Oh, that's mine.
You got to work. You got to work now.
Oh, I know. Your Honor, I move to approve the consent calendar as follows. Items 1 through, keep turning pages, 28 minus 15C. And this includes resolution 24,919 minus 24,931, but including 24,941.
Second?
A motion is made in second for the consent calendar, and there's a little discussion. I have one question on number 14. I don't, but do we have, what's it called?
Waldo's.
On Waldo's Rock Park, do we have a title opinion in the works or something?
We're starting to work on the process of actually splitting the property because it's all one parcel right now. We've gotten a proposal on that, and we'll be doing a contract to start with the actual division of the property so that the new legal parcel can be created to be deeded to the city.
Oh, okay. And then on number 24, will that receive and file correspondence be published for the populace?
Yeah, the Prospect Meadows will actually be coming to the next council meeting to present to the council in more detail on that.
All right, fine. All right.
Yeah, it's just a receive and file for tonight.
Mayor?
Sir.
Just a clarification, Mary Lou said 1 through 28, but it should be 1 through 26.
I'm sorry, what?
1 through 26.
Just so there's no confusion on that.
Went 1 too far.
I went too far? No, I
Yeah.
didn't.
1 through 26. 26.
No, 1 through 26. Oh. It's all right, no glasses.
Yes.
I'm
26.
thinking I might have to abstain from number 23. It involves the facade program. Just a public hearing. But
We can take that out and address that separately. Okay. So we'll do 1 through 26 and address 23 at a separate. Is that okay? Mary Lou? All right?
That's fine.
Very well. Okay. Okay, so we, as far as the consent calendar goes, we'll go from the consent motion to approve 1 through 26, and we'll address 23 next. Correct?
Well, and then 15C. That's being omitted also, and then pushed to the next.
Are we going to talk about that now too then? Next?
It's just going to be added to the next agenda.
Next?
Yeah.
Very well. All right, so it's 1 through 26, and we'll leave off 15 and 23. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? And now let's address 23. Resolution
24,941, setting a public hearing for November 19th to accept the construction documents and award the bid for the downtown facade revitalization program.
Second?
Motion is made second for resolution 24941. A discussion? All those in favor of this resolution signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed?
abstain.
And one abstention. And now moving, do we put 15 onto the next session? All right, very well. Councilman Etzel?
15C.
Motion to approve consent calendar with council member Abu Asali abstention as presented. Resolution number 249242 through 24944, including number 15C.
Second?
Motion is made and seconded with the consent calendar 27, 28, 29, and 15C, correct?
I need to abstain, I think, from 29.
Very well. All those in favor of this consent calendar as read signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed and those abstain.
Abstaining.
Aye.
29.
Oh, wait a minute, then you don't have a majority.
For 29,
For 27, 28, 29.
just
Well,
29.
for 29.
Just 29?
Because if
Just
you've
for
got two
29.
abstentions,
Yep.
So we'll have to hold off on that.
Very well. We'll
Yeah,
we'll
29
address
would be
that
the
later.
one that would not have enough votes with 2 abstentions.
Okay, we'll address it later. Very well.
If you'd
Uh,
like to table that one until the full council is here, we could.
Do we need to move to a table? that?
Number 29, yeah.
Okay, Your Honor, I move to table resolution number 24944 for later consideration.
second.
Motion is made second for 24944. Discussion? All those in favor of tabling 24944 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Two abstentions.
We'll
That doesn't,
work that out.
doesn't even work.
We'll work that out, I'm sure. For engineering, Councilman Spinks.
Yes, sir. I move to approve Resolution 24945, establishing fair market value and just compensation for the acquisition of certain retail property in an interest in real property owned by Phyllis M. Roush, trustee of the William J. Roush Family Trust, located at north one-half of the northwest quarter of the northwest quarter, Section 12, Township 83, North Range 7, west of the 5th PM, Lynn County, Iowa, regarding the Armour Drive Extension Project.
Second.
Motion is made second for Resolution 24945. Discussion? Those in favor of Resolution 24945 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
And I'm abstaining from this one. Thank you.
Councilman Nick Gabalosli, please.
I move to approve resolution, or I move to receive, file, and refer to TAC correspondence regarding parking on First Street from Will Holland.
Second?
Motion is made second to receive and file and refer to TAC for correspondence. Discussion?
You want to?
Engineering, could you explain?
As I had mentioned on Tuesday, excuse me, in the past, council's been denying several of these similar requests, and I didn't know if you wanted to put staff, which we will do, but we would notify all of the adjacent owners, property owners, and ask them to come to council. So if you want to go through that process, even though you don't appear to be supportive of these types of improvements, maybe you want to consider that, but do as you please.
Well, he's just asking for one side parking. I mean, it's not both sides.
No, but you've denied the last, I think, 3 or 4 requests that we've had for one-side parking, no parking.
Well, that was on Second Avenue, because there really wasn't a problem there. But with this, it seems that this is a repository for used cars and everything else, and just to clean up the area.
Well, let's go
Asking
through
for consideration.
Let's go through the process then. That's
Yep.
fine. Thank you, sir. Receive and file. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Councilman,
I'll be
go ahead.
Mr. Draper.
Yes,
Do
sir.
I have to read it differently for Mr. Draper?
Yes, please.
leave off the...
Resolution, I move to approve resolution number 24946, approving Hunter's Field 9th Edition Final Plat and Memorandum of Agreement for property located south of Huntington Hills Drive on either side of Elderton Drive, All Terrain RE LLC request.
Second.
Motion is made second for Resolution 24946. Planning, could you explain that, please?
Yes, this is approval of a final plat located at the what's currently the stub street at Elderton. Actually, if you drive out there, the improvements are in, but there's 6-lot subdivision out between Nottingham Hills and Connection. Elderton Drive goes up through that area. So
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
everything's in order with regard to the surety and such.
For Resolution 24946, those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed? Councilman Pizzol.
Your Honor, I move to approve Resolution 24,947, approving Hunter's Field 10th Edition Final Plat and Memorandum of Agreement for property located north of Hunter's Greenway on either side of Foxborough Drive, Fritz Development, LLC.
Second.
Motion is made and second for Resolution 24947. Discussion? Those in favor of Resolution 24947 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Councilman Edsel.
Ordinance number 15-22, amending the Marion Code of Ordinances regarding a request to rezone property located at 631 9th Street from C1 Neighborhood Commercial to C2 Central Business District Commercial. Jeffrey Robinson, applicant, second consideration.
Second.
Motion is made and second for ordinance number 15-22. Discussion? Those in favor of this ordinance signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Councilman Spinks.
Yes, Your Honor, I move to approve Resolution 24948, approving the purchase agreement with Doug and Amanda Poshby regarding the property located at 1496 Fifth Avenue in the amount of $85,900.
Second.
Motion is made and second for Resolution 24948. Discussion?
Have you heard anything? This was the market value price that is on here?
Correct, yep.
Yeah. Have they accepted, or do you?
Yeah, we have a signed agreement from them.
Okay,
Correct. Yep.
so it should go. Yeah.
Yep, that's the total at this point, and then we've ordered up an appraisal on it. Of course, this one was one that was in the transition of a purchase. Usually I like to have appraisal first. So we've ordered up an appraisal, and then, as indicated, if the appraisal comes in higher, then we're obligated to pay the appraised value because of the process we're following. But at this point, we have an approved purchase agreement.
Can I get him to talk about how we were able to purchase this and get this property? Is that okay?
Certainly.
Yeah. Would you explain how this is something new that we had done a couple of years ago on council?
Oh, certainly. So this is part of the Central Corridor redevelopment plan. We need this piece of property to expand the width of 15th Street as a part of the project. So there's over 22 parcels that we're going to need to acquire as a part of the Central Corridor plan. This is just one of them, but it happened to come up for sale on the MLS. We noticed it. Once we got involved, we actually were in the middle of a transaction, and the property was under agreement by another buyer, which would have been very difficult because we would have immediately been talking to them to acquire from somebody who just bought it, which would have been a very confusing and frustrating process for a new owner of property. But that fell through, so we were in a position to make an offer. But as we've indicated in the past, sometimes we've got to do these things quick. And in this case, we didn't have time to get the appraisal done, so we were able to get together a purchase agreement and move forward with that, consistent with the city's policy that was adopted a couple years ago, which allowed the city manager and a council person, mayor or pro tem, to sign that agreement pending city council approval. So we had a signed offer to tie that property up, but it wasn't approved until this full council takes action on it. So that did help, because if that property would have went through the process of sale, it would have probably we'd probably spend more money on it, and then we would also put two families in a position that would not have been good. So anyway, it worked out well. Appreciate the council's support on that, and it helps us to be able to react to the market quickly when we need to.
And so what you're seeing now is the fact that, since the mayor pro tem signed it, then the council will vote to approve it.
Yep.
So it's not that they can approve $85,000 on their own.
Yeah, and it's necessary that we have some kind of a value and a signature when we go and enter into the agreement, or it's really not a valid agreement. So they could continue to market the property or sell it to somebody else.
Yeah, that's right. And you were able to get a hold of the mayor pro tem because I didn't find my phone until after 6 p.m. And it needed to be done by 5, so Joe signed it. So that was pretty
This was the asking price of the owners?
Correct. Yep, this is what it was listed at.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you, Tom.
Yep,
Very
no
well.
problem.
Thank you. And we are going back to Resolution 24948. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? And now Nick Gabalowski, number 1.
I move to approve resolution number 24949, approving memorandum of agreement with Matthew Holdings LLC regarding the 2016 Imagine Art in the Alley project.
Second?
Motion is made and second for resolution 24949. Lon, could you?
Yeah, as part of the Imagine Art in the Alleys project, we're going to be installing some equipment back there that would allow for irrigation of plant materials, washing the area down periodically. The original plans would have called for the installation of an underground meter box and a meter pit out in the alleyway itself. As one of the things that we were able to work out on a cost reduction strategy, Matthews Holdings will be allowing us to put the plumbing in the bottom of their building to have a dedicated meter down there, so we don't need to put any of that infrastructure out into the alley. We'll just tag off of the water supply to their building with its own meter and then come out and connect into our system.
Very well. Any other discussion? For resolution 24949, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Joe, you ought to have to run down and sit in Paul's seat when you do this.
Yes, Your Honor. This is a move to approve resolution number 24950, approving temporary construction easement agreement with the First Presbyterian Church at 889 11th Street regarding the 2016 Imagine Art in the Alley project.
Second.
Motion is made and second for resolution 24950. Discussion. Councilman Draper had mentioned something about abandonment of an alley. Is that in the works behind the church?
It's something that we're taking a look at. He has asked the city about that before. The church actually had undertaken some improvements to that alley, especially on the east side. They own the property on either side of the alley, and then there's actually a little stub even going north through their property that apparently was half abandoned at some point. So it's a good plan, I think, for us to go in and clean that area up.
Thank you. For resolution 24950, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Councilman Pazur.
Your Honor, I move to approve resolution 24,951, approving temporary construction easement agreement with Coben and Hervey Building, LLC, in care of Thomas J. Fritz regarding the 2016 Imagine Art in the Alley project.
Sorry, I thought you were done. Second.
Right. Discussion in law. You can talk about this. I think this was addressed in this presentation earlier.
Yeah, the Tom Franz is the principal of the Coben and Hervey Building, LLC. They own a 24-space parking lot that's on the north side of the alley that was always associated with the Sorg Pharmacy when that business was open. Rather than having to occupy on-street parking for construction staging, which would be your storage of your materials, your storage of equipment during the construction process, he's allowing us to move it over there to keep the on-street parking available. That was one of the cost reduction strategies for this project. When we did the initial bids, the council's well aware that they came in incredibly high relative to the engineer's estimates. One of the big areas was mobilization, which is the time and energy and effort that the contractor has to spend getting ready. One of the things that they told us is because of the nature of the project is that using all those different subs without a staging area, they would be constantly bringing their equipment in and then taking it away every night. So by having a staging area close to the project, they can store all of that equipment and all those materials and not have to take it away every night and really reduce costs.
Thank you. Any other discussion? For those in favor of resolution 24951, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Councilman Etzel.
Motion to receive and file letters of support regarding the establishment of reserved parking zones in the Uptown Marion District as follows. There's a list of 24 names. I think we can all just read the names.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded to receive and file letters of support. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you. Councilman Spinks.
Yes, Your Honor. This is a motion to remove from table resolution number 24917, approving the establishment of reserved parking zones on the south side of 8th Avenue on the easterly quarter block between 10th and 11th Street, the west side of 11th Street on the northerly half block between 7th and 8th Avenues, and the east side of the 10th Street on the northerly half block between 7th and 8th Avenues from weekdays between the hours of 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. This was tabled on 10/22.
Second?
Motion is made and second to remove from the table resolution 24917. Discussion. All those in favor? So go ahead, sir.
Mayor, Councilman Draper, I don't know if he'd had a chance to call you. His wife is going through some medical issues. He was not able to be here tonight. He did request that this be continued to be tabled, but I know that we have people in the audience that came wanting to have the opportunity to speak, as we've already seen during the citizen comment portion of it. If you wanted to do a motion and a second to introduce it, then we could allow people to speak. But then if the council were to vote this motion down, it stays on the table until the next city council meeting.
And I was just going to say that I think it's probably a good idea to not remove it from the table and to continue working on this issue.
That'd probably be
So you're going to re-put it back on the table? Is that?
No, just leave it. Just vote no on
Leave
this.
it. Okay.
Just vote no on this to leave it on the table.
Yeah, I know that there were a lot of people that came, I think, probably for this specific issue, wanting to have the opportunity to talk about it. So if it's moved and seconded, then it's introduced. You could allow the public comment for anybody that didn't have a chance to do it already. And then the council, if you vote this motion down, it stays on the table automatically.
We can have more comment?
Mm-hmm.
Very well. We will allow more comment. Is there anyone else that would like to comment at this? None? No comment. All right. So if we vote no...
Then it stays on the table.
Very well. On the table. Yes, have a roll call vote then, yeah.
Ms. Pazor?
No.
Ms. Setzel?
No.
Mr. Spinks?
No.
Mayor Buska?
No.
Mr. Abawasley?
No.
Thank you.
All right. So now, Councilman Abalosly.
So there's no need for the next one.
No, we'd move on to number 7.
Very well.
Oh, I'm up again.
Draper.
They really do all go together. I mean, these are all associated with that particular project. So if you'd prefer, you could actually table 7 and 8 and then move on to number 9.
Your Honor, I move to table items 6, 7, and 8 for further consideration until we have a full council.
Second.
Motion is made and second to table number 7 and number 8. Discussion? Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Councilman Pazor.
No.
Is that the same?
I got tabled.
That's all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Resolution number 24955, approving the 2016 program design with the Vivere for the Employee Wellbeing Program.
Second.
Motion is made and second for resolution 24955. Discussion?
So this is the firm that the city has hired to manage our health, or to show how to make cost reductions in the health.
Yeah, they're the administrator of our well-being program. So, like when we do things that say, employees need to earn a certain number of points, they're the ones that monitor all of that. It's a layer of insulation to make sure that, we're not getting access to any type of confidential medical data or anything like that. It's all held within Vivera's systems.
And it's a 3-year.
Yeah, this will be the 2nd year.
So they work with the insurance carriers to see what will reduce the premiums for the city?
Yeah, they are a well-being and wellness provider. I mean, it's a niche in the market that they work on. They're a pretty large company, do this all around the nation. One of the things that really attracted us to them in looking at them was that they have a very data-driven approach. They do a lot of research to make sure that the things that are being proposed or the things that are being considered have a strong link with reducing medical costs in the future.
And so that's the function of this then, is to reduce the city's health care costs.
Yeah, as I said on Tuesday, they gave us a case study for another community that they've been working with, and that community, city of about 31,000 people, and I believe it's up in Minnesota, has achieved about a $6 cost reduction on employee health costs for every dollar that they've put into their well-being program.
Thank you.
But shoot, just consider that people in Minnesota hibernate, so they don't have to.
For Resolution 24955, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Councilman Spinks.
This is a motion to receive correspondence regarding the Hunters Ridge promissory note and mortgage requesting a partial release of mortgage for the 16th edition from the note and mortgage relating to the sewer. This is David Tins and Tins and Quint Law Offices in Cedar Rapids.
Dennis.
Tinney?
Dennis.
Oh,
Dennis?
Dennis. Thank you.
Motion is made and second to receive and file motion to receive correspondence regarding Hunters Ridge. Discussion? Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Councilman Nick Oblowski, please.
I move to authorize the mayor to sign the partial release of mortgage for the 16th edition of Hunters Ridge 16th edition from the note and mortgage relating to the sewer.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded for the mayor to sign release of his mortgage? No? Okay. Discussion? Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Go ahead.
They come around pretty quick. This is a move to approve resolution number 24956 to concur with the local option sales tax oversight committee's recommendations.
Just to give you a brief update, the local option sales tax
We
committee.
need a second, please.
No, I think we need to look at this because we just got this material, like seconds before the meeting started, and I haven't really had a chance to look at it.
Oh, did somebody second it, though?
No, Ed seconded it.
Second.
There's a second. Good. Okay.
Just for the benefit of the public in attendance, the local option sales tax committee met in August and then again in October to take a look at a couple of different proposals from the staff for making a few changes to the use of local option sales tax funds. The role of that committee is to take a look at proposed expenditures and make sure that they're consistent with the ballot language, and then make a recommendation to council. The first one is the allocation of up to $40,000 from community improvement funds for doing a housing market analysis of Marion. They made the determination that that met the standards, that use of funds was consistent with the ballot language and recommended $40,000. There's an allocation proposed up to $50,000 for infrastructure funds for a new street connection. This would be actually go through the city's property on Hannah Park, and it would be between Fairview Drive and Orchard. Got a map that shows the road, but I don't have a good one of the entire area. But it's an area where you've got kind of a half-loop street down there, and Fairview is scheduled for reconstruction, and this would allow for emergency services to have much better access in and out of the area while they're down there doing the project. And then the third one is not really a cost change, but rather a sequence change for doing a couple of projects. Lucor Road, as the council is aware, we've had a lot of residents from that area coming in and talking to the council about the condition of it. Engineering and Public Service have also evaluated it and agree that it's not going to last until 2018, 2019 when it's programmed into the local option sales tax spending plan for reconstruction. So they're recommending that that be brought forward to next year, and then that the improvements to the 35th Street Moonier Road intersection and the Highway 144th Street intersection improvements be pushed back a year. At this point, Lucor has deteriorated faster and needs to be addressed more quickly than it would be if we were not to make that change. It's not really a cost change, just a sequence change of the fiscal year that the projects would occur in.
This is the one with the issues with the construction trucks?
Yeah.
And that's been brought before council before?
Yeah, a couple of times.
Good. Glad we moved that up.
Yep.
Is this,
go ahead.
This 50,000, is that, you're talking about opening that connection, is that something the Public Works will be doing, or?
It would be bid and done as part of the Fairview Drive reconstruction. I don't know if Dan has some information. I do have a picture on it.
Oh, so this will be bid out then, and,
It'll be combined with the project.
oh, okay.
Excuse me.
Where are we?
Okay, what's where?
Yeah.
I'm going to try to get something here if I can.
This right here is the North Hannah Park, and then down here would be the South Hannah Park. So basically, they each have their own parking lots, and as you recall from South 11th Street when we reconstructed that, Fairview is a dead end. It has Orchard that comes around and ends. Well, eventually those streets need to be reconstructed, and because of that, Mike.
Thank you.
So basically, this is connecting the two Hannah Parks. When we reconstruct Fairview and Orchard, we need to be able to have another access point in there. Otherwise, when we reconstruct that street, it's going to be similar to South 11th. We're going to have to break it up into so many different phases that it's going to take forever to construct that. Because Orchard doesn't go all the way through here.
See that? Oh, there you go.
So you have Fairview, or F Avenue over here, that comes around as this Hannah Park, and then you have the North Hannah Park. So all this is doing is connecting the two in there. It's better for fire, public service, everybody, so they can get from the different parts of the Hannah Park. We're also adding a small trail that goes from the existing parking down to the trail. There was some new ADA equipment that got put in, but there's no ADA parking stalls out there. So we're adding some ADA parking stalls as well with that project. So it just made sense if we're going to reconstruct Fairview Drive that we go ahead and do a larger project while we're in there.
So that's what you're saying this will tie on to then, is the Fairview. So will that be Fairview be a full tear out like you've done down at Hillview and all that?
Yep.
So it'll tear everything down and build it back up.
Our intent is to rebuild most of those streets in there. They're all in pretty bad shape. We've tried to overlay them, and now they just crumble to the point where can't even overlay them anymore.
We do have the chair and a couple of other members of the Local Option Sales Tax Review Committee are in attendance at the meeting if they'd like to offer any comments. They've had a chance to look at these in some detail.
Well, the committee's approving this, correct?
These are the recommendations that they looked at and approved as concurrent with the ballot language. Yep.
That's correct.
I have a question. This allocation of up to $40,000 of community improvement funds for housing market study, is that a survey of available housing units, including apartments, or what?
It would include a survey of the available units so that we'd have a real good sense of what our existing stock is. But one of the things that it will really tell us is what we're going to expect to need. Right now, it's difficult for us to necessarily evaluate a proposal like the library project where they say 55 units because I can't, there's no data out there to tell us, is that too many? Is it too few? What's the actual demand for that type of a particular unit in Marion? Should we be looking at for our composition of housing units? What is a reasonable market rate rent? So we can really have an idea of what the true demand in Marion is and what type of things we should be looking at.
So basically, it's going to also include a survey of cost type. So many houses at 150,000, so many at 200,000.
Yeah, it'll be an evaluation of the market in a lot more detail than we've had done in the past. We've had housing needs assessments done in the past, but those have really been more about the condition of housing when we've been looking at applying for single-family rehabilitation grants and things like that through the state. This is going to have a lot more detail to it.
Thank you.
For Resolution 24956, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Council discussion.
Surprisingly, no.
Rob.
Oh.
I would like to congratulate Nick on becoming the next mayor, and Will Brandt, Ward 3, And I would like to say congratulations to Joe for running a great race.
Thank
And
you.
I'm glad you're going to be here.
Thank you.
Your leadership is important.
Yeah. That it?
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to also congratulate Nick for will be the next mayor of Marion. Look forward to serving with you on council, and for Kim, glad to see you back on here, your smiling face beside me. And Will, why don't you stand up and let people see who our next council person will be? Yeah. So thank you guys for.
Nothing. Thank you.
I wish Will would have had a billboard. We would have seen his face earlier here. That's good. But anyway, congratulations to Nick. He's got some big shoes to fill, I can tell you that. But other than that, it's going to be a very easy turnover, real easy on the transition, on the council, and the city. It's going to pull forward. I don't think we're going to have any problems at all. And it was a good, solid election. Joe, you did a great job. So thanks.
Thanks.
With that, thank you.